Hi, everyone. Welcome back to You Are Here Pod. I'm Danny. I'm your host. I'm so excited to be back talking all about growing up, finding your way, figuring it out together. And today, we'll be talking about main character syndrome. / stay in your lane. But if you're listening to us on audio only or you're on YouTube, thank you so much. And if you're on audio only, you should definitely come on over to YouTube because we're going to be playing a game later and you're definitely probably going to want to see what I'm talking about. But glad you're here, however you're watching or listening. Okay, so let's get into the topic. So a few weeks ago, I was thinking about the idea of like main character syndrome. Obviously, I think we're all on the internet, we're all on TikTok, we're all watching people literally. Oh, and like I grew up with YouTube. So, I mean, I grew up people essentially becoming main characters of their own life. But in a way that was like public now, which I think was really unique and different, obviously, to like the way that we grew up. But anyways, I think that as we've grown up being around all these people, like it is so crazy to me that like kids want to be YouTubers. Like that is the dream. Or kids want to be TikTokers, kids want to be influencers. That is crazy. I remember when I was little, I wanted to be a vet. But then I realized that you'd have to like cut animals open and have to deal with blood, and I was like, actually, no, taking a step back, becoming an artist instead. And now here I am doing whatever I do. Okay. But anyways, so I just think it's crazy that I think we've grown up so my generation, Gen Z, millennials, we grew up like in our prime years of like adolescence, completely like inundated with people becoming main characters and becoming these like celebrities, but they weren't, like they were just normal people. So anyways, I think that we have seeing that happen, and now it's like become a part of our lives. Like I know people online always joke about like you're getting ready in the morning and you're like talking to an invisible camera because that's what you've seen repeated so often. So it's like it seeps into your brain and your subconscious, and it's like it's main character syndrome where you think that your whole life, which is a little scary, and it's scary for a few reasons. Dang, we're just getting straight into it. I had so much to say about this topic, so I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go, okay? But I do think it's scary for a few reasons. I think it's scary because we are consumers that then want to become like the agent for the consumption. Ooh, does that make any sense? I think so. And so, but in that, we are like perpetuating a cycle of we like our goal, which is why I think it was like I was scary about like children, because our goal then becomes to be like to be driven to like produce things to make other people money, like to basically just fuel like capitalistic ideas and like ideologies, which I don't think are like the worst things in the world. I think you can find a flaw. Any man-made system is going to have flaws. So period. I'm not like saying like, burn. I'm just saying it is very concerning that like that children's idea of like a dream job is something that is actually fueling like dissatisfaction in people. You know what I mean? Like that is inherently like what social media does. That is what advertising does. That's what marketing does. It like creates a dissatisfaction. So then you feel like the only thing to satisfy that is X product or whatever. And so I just think that is very interesting and a little bit concerning about that. And I think I do genuinely think this is an element of growing up and like really realizing and like zooming out on your life and being like, oh, these are things that my life has been surrounded by. And maybe not all of them are healthy, and maybe not all of them are even necessary. Like, I actually don't need to think this way anymore. And this is kind of like the perspective I'm taking with main character syndrome, and even in like my own life, and addressing that within myself and like externally and internally, is I'm thinking like, well, if everything in my life, like if influencing, if being a main character, social media, et cetera, like ever happened, like would that actually be, would I actually be happy and enjoy that? And I don't think it would be very fun, because your whole life is figuring out like how to sell, how to market, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like a very complicated thing. Okay, sorry, I did not mean to go on a tangent on influencing. Back to like our main point here. But I do think it is concerning for that reason, that you're like essentially creating little like advertising, marketing, capitalism robots, who want to, who not only want to become the product themselves, but they want to sell product too, and like perpetuate the cycle that we all are so fed up with. Like, it is not new to talk about how social media, how all of those things are damaging to our psyches. Okay, moving right along. The other element I think to main character syndrome that is like obviously a little bit like a part of it, like if you talk about it, it is like unrealistic. It's unrealistic to be a main character all of the time, and to like, obviously you live your life, but it's unrealistic in the sense that like the world isn't gonna fall at your feet. Like, the world is like, you have to do something with your life, and that is a really unfortunate reality to figure out and to address. Like, I don't like that. Like, I think I'm clever. Like, I think I'm fairly smart. Like, I think I'm likable. I think I'm all these things that like are textbook main character qualities and traits. But like, that's not how my life works, and it's not how it's worked. And that sucks to come to conclusion with. And like, maybe you're in a similar place where you're like, dang, like life is a lot harder than I realized. And I am right there with you. It is a lot harder. But I think this is like a healthy element, because then you can realize, okay, well, this is not like, it's like the gap, like mind the gap situation, where okay, this is the gap between like the expectation of what you had your life to be, and then this is like where reality is. You just gotta kind of close it sometimes. And this is like a part of the closing. And I think a part of the closing is actually the like opposite of having main character syndrome, or maybe not opposite. I think the balance of having main character syndrome and like being a well-rounded human being and like grown-up adult is staying in your lane, which I, number one, love that phrase. Hey, love the visual with that, like stay in your lane. And also love that it's kind of, I don't know, it like feels very firm. I like that. And sometimes I have to tell myself things like that. I have to be like, girl, sit down, stay in your lane. I got my notes out here. But yeah, I love the idea of like staying in your lane, of being of knowing like yourself well enough to know that you don't always have to be in the spotlight. And what I had here was just like learning that you're not the main character all the time, and finding out what you're good at and sticking with your strength. I feel like that is a very underrated quality in this generation, or that they don't see that as worth it, or like worthwhile, because obviously that takes time to find what you're good at in like discovering who you are, but then it also takes time to like be good at something. And I just don't think when we've grown up in the age of like going viral and getting a career like from literally ashes and like having nothing and then going overnight and like being a sensation, I feel like it does become, that's what's attractive about it, is like it happens like so fast, but anything worthwhile doesn't. And it does go back to what I talked about in the podcast about delayed gratification. Is it great things do take time. And so I think in terms of like your life, and I even think a great example is like even influencers who do become super popular and do get notoriety and etc., they then have to figure out like dang, like what am I going to do from here? Like I'm not good at anything. And even like when influencing eventually will die, cuz like everything does come to an end at some point. Like then we're going to have all these people who like just committed their lives to taking pictures of themselves and like aren't good, like they have no skills. And so things like that are also just great to keep yourself in perspective of like, even though they got success, they got fame, they got money, whatever they may have that you think you're lacking, what they may or may not, like what they may probably don't have is they didn't have the time to get good at something enough to like continue on in their career or like in what they actually want to do. And not saying that all influencers are like vapid and dumb. That's not what I'm saying. Or like aren't good at anything. And social media is a real job. It's my job. So it is a real job. But I think like that is it. It's just whenever something happens so quickly in your life, you're then not afforded the time to become an expert, or because so then you're learning on the job. So it does become like a very hard situation to navigate in that sense, because you don't have time anymore. You're just like doing it. So then you're learning, and you know you're making more mistakes. You're figuring it out. You're talking to people that maybe like allegedly say that they know best for you. You're just like relying on a lot of external sources, instead of like being like an expert in your own right. So anyways, again, not making generalized statements. I'm just saying, because of the fast-paced nature of the industry, it is a little dodgy. And so because of that, I think the time thing is really important. So I think as a normal person, as a normie, just existing, find value in like taking time to learn something, to be great at something, and to also take the time to know yourself, to know what you're good at. I do think everybody has like natural things that they're good at and like gifts that they're talented at. And if you don't take the time to like know what you're good at, then you'll never know like where to go from there. And also, like I would say, yeah, it's easy to go with things that you're good at, but you can also learn. Learning is awesome. Period. Yeah. Another part of this in like main character syndrome is and like staying in your lane, that I think is really important. I guess this is more like staying in your lane actually. Is I think a huge part of adulthood that I've had to figure out is really just knowing when and where. And I learned this from my boss actually. She's so good at parenting and like being a mom and just an overall human being. I will have her on the show later on. But growing up is like knowing when and where to do things, and like knowing when and where, and like how to like navigate that. And I think like this is a like kind of silly example, but like knowing at work, like what jokes to make at work, knowing like when to cuss and when to not as well. And like all these things that you're told your whole life potentially that are like bad or like whatever. It's not that they're bad. It's just like as a child, you don't know what's appropriate and when. And so when you get older, now it's your responsibility to figure that out. Because hey, sometimes people make you really, really upset. The only word you have for them is a bad one. Okay. And sometimes you have to do that. But what's not appropriate is screaming in somebody's face as an adult every bad word that comes to your mind first. That's like not cool. And you're a jerk if you do that. But what is cool is if you're talking to somebody, expressing how the situation made you feel, and you're ripping them a new one. But you're like expressing how you feel, but you're not like being belligerent, or you're not being difficult and like hostile. And it's just knowing when and where. And I think that's like a huge part of like staying in your lane as well. Like you can be articulate, you can be funny, you can be everything that you want to be, but it's just like knowing when and where those pieces of you are applicable in your life. And you're not hiding pieces of yourself, you're not whatever. And I think there's also this like insane, like very radical way of thinking that the internet just has like inundated us with. And again, I think it is because of like viral culture and like things like that. Everything has to be extreme in order to get people's attention, which totally makes sense. But in real life, that does not translate well, because extremes like in real life don't change people's minds. They don't resonate with anybody. I think what resonates so well with people is actually people that are willing to address nuance, that are willing to address gray areas, that are willing to say like it's not black and white, and that's the point. And like that's what life is about. It's about navigating so much gray and not always having the answer for it. But it does tie into like staying in your lane. Figure out what your tendencies are. Figure out how you handle conflict. Figure out how you handle grief. Figure out how you handle all these things, and stay in your lane and know when and where that kind of expression is available, or applicable to your life. And like I said, it's not about hiding yourself. It's not about like being a different person. It's really just taking a step back and allowing girl, I lost my train of thought. But I think I said what I need to say about that. Take a step back, stay in your lane. Okay, cool. Well, we'll keep on going, because another element I can keep talking. Okay, great. So the other two things I feel like I also wanted to talk about in this main character stay in your lane conversation is committing to the bit. Okay, if you listen to me and you're like, dang, this girl is making some great points, and I have been going through this, I think a big part about it for me as well is that I'm learning is committing to the bit. Okay, if you want to be good at something, if you want to do something well, it's going to take time. And for me personally, this podcast has been that. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I have a great little brother / producer who believes in me when I don't believe in myself, which is all the time. And he is a great help. But I was talking to my friends about this today, and I was like, guys, I'm a little bit embarrassed about the podcast, about like being on YouTube, making clips, blah, 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 blah. Especially after I just talked about this for like 15 minutes about how influencing, etc. But they were like, well, you shouldn't be embarrassed, whatever. And I said, I think it's just the fact that it feels like so silly. Like I feel silly for me, this feels like I'm trying to be a main character, but I'm really not. Like I genuinely did start this because I was having so many of the same conversations. I just wanted a place to have all the conversations with all of my friends and where everybody can find like a common place to be confused and to figure it out. But I was saying that like it is a little bit embarrassing for me, like to be a podcaster or whatever. But then I was like, well, now I only have two options. My two options are either to be like, haha, did it for a season, I don't like it, I don't want to do this anymore. Or my second option is just to commit to the bit. Now I'm a CEO, podcaster, professional, Canon camera, Shure 7 1B, whatever. I'm a professional. That's the other option. Okay. So I'm going to go with the other option now, and I'm going to use this time to become an expert, right? I'm going to learn on the job. I've done my research. I watch my little podcaster tips. I'm giving it a go, and I'm just committing to the bit. And I think that was a really helpful reminder to me today as I was talking to my friends. Just commit to the bit. Okay. I think the other part of committing to the bit that you have to address is the cringe. Okay. It is cringy. And I hate that. I hate that the internet has made us feel cringy about putting ourselves out there and just giving it a go and just trying something. I guess I understand where it came from because we grew up with the internet. Like, so many people can watch you give it a go and like try and sometimes crash and burn or succeed. So I get that there's that like weight there, but cringe is just a part of life. Like, you just got to do some things, and sometimes you make yourself cringe, and that is just how it is. And there's really nothing like you can do to change that. I think people are so afraid of like being embarrassing, me, literally me. And people are so afraid of like I don't know, like just yeah, like trying something and not succeeding, and not it being not it going the way that they thought. Again, like the mind the gap, like the expectations and reality thing. But again, like that's just life. Like, everything I have done that has been scary, that has been out of my normal, has been the best experience ever. And I think all the things that I went into those things wanting, I didn't come out with them. I came out with like things that are way better, that have like actually shaped me into a person. And I think that's the other element of it, is like, who do you want to be? There's a girl on TikTok that has come up on my FYP a few times, but she talks about every successful person has to climb cringe mountain. And I just love that expression, or like idea and like picture. You really do gotta trek on cringe mountain to like get what you want. And I also don't understand why in our generation it's cringe to care about something. Like, it's cringe to like want to do something and want for it to be, and like want for not just for it to be successful, but for also like it to be excellent, and for it to be for you to like contribute something good. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's so crazy to see people on TikTok or on YouTube, and to take time and effort and care into what they're producing, and then to them talk about like how much hate they get, or like how much people don't understand it. Like, that is shocking. Like, why don't we allow people to care about things deeply? Even things that are like silly. I don't know. And I think about even like fangirls when I was little, of like One Direction, or like, whatever. I just think it's crazy that like we have to that is like embarrassing to care about something. However, I do also think it goes back. Everything is like held in tension with everything else, which is why I think growing up is so fascinating. Because I do think like that is a great example of something that is that like a when and where thing. Like, I wouldn't talk to like a grown man with children, whatever, about One Direction. Like, I know he's not gonna relate, he's not gonna care. Or like Vine, I'm not bringing that up in a meeting to like grown people. They're not gonna get it. That's not gonna be funny. But like, what I will mention is like the games this weekend, or like whatever. But it's just, I think it's just like knowing what people are interested in. Why am I talking about conversation? You guys know how to speak. Well, actually, not everybody knows how to speak. But anyways, that's what I'm saying, is everything is like when and where, hold it in tension, let people care about things, climb cringe mountain. What did I write here? Move past the cringe to get to the good. And that's what it comes down to. Okay. I hope you had fun. I really talked, man. I liked that topic though. That was a fun one. Okay, moving on to the other half, part 2 of our little podcast video adventure. Okay, welcome back. Not really. You've been here the whole time. Okay, so I thought it would be really fun if we would play a game because this whole episode has been about main characters, etc., staying in your lane. So I thought it'd be really fun to play a game and do a tier list of iconic main characters. And I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions about these main characters, where I believe they should fall on this list. And I'm basing them off of the characters, not the actors that play them. Okay? So please stick around and beep up over to YouTube so you can watch me actually play because we'll have a little screen happening. Okay, first character. Anakin Skywalker. Now, in my heart of hearts, he's S tier for me. But that's for my crushes of lifetime. However, Anakin is problematic. And as we know, he does choose the dark side. But I do love a bad boy. And so for that reason, I'm going to go C. He's fine. He's great. I think also his character was necessary, obviously. Hello. Okay, moving on. We have Katie Heron from Mean Girls. Katie is homeschooled. And I was also homeschooled. So I think I'm going, but she is also kind of annoying. Wait, let me think. I also did just watch the Mean Girls movie, the musical one, and it wasn't very good. And that Katie really sucked. She'd be going below D if she was this one. But obviously we're going OG. And I think I'm going to... Does she have a redemption arc? She kind of does. I wish we got like a little epilogue for Katie. Because I don't know if the Regina-ness really left her. I don't know. I'm gonna go B for Katie. I feel safe about that. Okay, next we have Cher from Clueless. Oh, and her head's cut off. Her head was cut off. Her arms were cut off. Okay, Cher from Clueless. Honestly, I like this girl. I like her. She was just trying to have a good time. She was trying to get her driver's license. She was trying to shop. She was just trying to get a boyfriend. Me too, girl. And I like her. She's S tier character for me. What was the problematic thing that she did? Derek, do you remember? I can't remember. What was she do? What did she do that was problematic? Cher. She got a gun pulled on her in an Aliyah dress.
Wasn't she in love with her brother? That's a different
Step brother. Oh. They're not related at all. I think she's fine. I think she's S tier for me. S tier. Do you have any?
It is problematic that she was in love with her
step brother. They're not related at all. Different mom and dad. I think it's fine. S tier. I love her character though. Okay, next, Legally Blonde. Elle Woods. Love her. Love her. What's her issue? She's got an issue. Does she?
Harvard?
That's not an issue. Oh, she liked Warner too much. That's an issue. She's going A for that. She's not S tier. She's A.
But Warner was an Army hero.
No, he wasn't. It's some random guy.
Oh, yeah.
No. Yeah, she liked Warner a little too much. But anyways, I like her though. I loved that, I loved all of her outfits in that too. She's so cute. Okay, love Elle Woods. Next, I gotta pick another guy. We have some guys in here. Indiana Jones. Great song. Harrison Ford. Love that. Oh, I did say we're not basing this off of actors. Okay, just Indiana Jones. Let me think. Love that he pulled that gun on that guy instead of doing a fist fight. Hilarious. I don't know. Was Indiana Jones kind of boring? No, he's a historian. He's a professor. Okay.
The ride was fun.
Yeah, that's true. It was scary. For that, he's going B. The ride that ride at Disneyland was so freaky, actually. And there were snakes everywhere. I was freaked out. I was freaked out. Okay, let's go Lucas Scott from One Tree Hill. Hey, he's going D. Don't even need to figure that out. The man is annoying, okay? He complains a lot. I get that his dad like didn't want him, but like they grew up in the same town. Like, I don't know. He was annoying to me. Lucas Scott, bye. Next, Emily Prentice from Criminal Minds. Oh my god. Say no more. S tier. She is everything to me. She died. She came back to life. Oh, sorry if you haven't seen Criminal Minds. Actually, not a spoiler. That show's been around forever.
It's over.
And it's over. Unless there's like new episodes on something.
No, there's not. They did a one-time special.
Oh, okay. Well, it's over. Emily Prentice rocks. She's the best character. That's all I have to say. She is a little dry, but she's so cool.
We gotta cut this out, but wanna know who I think Emily Prentice reminded me of?
Who? Why? Oh my god.
That's why we're gonna cut it out.
But I love Emily. Okay, whatever. Moving on. We're gonna do another guy. Troy Bolton. Oh, it's the basketball boys now. Troy Bolton. Troy also, I don't know about him. What was he doing? He liked, oh my god. He liked Gabriella. He also liked theater. Suspicious.
And the second movie, him and Gab was still talking, and then Sharpay came in and swooped in.
But he never liked Sharpay.
He never liked Sharpay, but played into it.
I think I'm gonna give him C. Something about Troy I don't trust. No, I don't. It's not that I trust. No, you know who'd I'd give S tier to? He's not a main character though. Zeke. That is my man. I'm so sorry for anybody who heard that voice or that noise I just made on audio. Oh my gosh. No, Zeke was awesome. That's what I'm saying. Like, it does not pay to be the main character all the time. Because you know who else rocked? The best friend from Clueless. I forgot her name. She rocks. She's dating that guy. You know who else rocked? Obi-Wan Kenobi. Which I think at some point in the Star Wars franchise, he was the main character in one of the films. Can't remember which one. You know who else rocked? Mean Girls. Gretchen. Gretchen rocked. And Karen. Okay, last two. Nathan Scott. Nathan Scott's going S tier. My only S tier man, which is crazy. Nathan Scott, though problematic in many ways when he was younger, really redeemed himself later on. Oh my gosh. This man had the best character arc in television history, dare I say. As from like a high school boy being a little rat, being mean, hating women, he went from being a faithful, loving, kind husband and father. Like, I don't know what he was almost paralyzed from the waist up. He became a basketball star. Like, no, this man, Nathan Scott. Nathan Scott forever, okay? Last girl, we got Miss Betty Suarez from Ugly Betty. She rocks. Like, she's so cute. I don't think I could be friends with her. I don't. I don't know why. I feel like something I don't think I could like be cool with her. I think I'd feel bad a lot cuz she's like so nice. I would feel so bad all the time. I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, she like really thinks the best of everybody all the time." So for that reason, I'm giving her A. She's with Miss Elwoods. And so there we go. That's my final tier list of my main characters. But like I said, sometimes it doesn't pay to be a main character. You got to be a side character. Stay in your lane. There you go. Okay. I hope you had fun. I had fun. I like doing that. If you agree with my choices, please let me know. If you don't agree with my choices, also please let me know. We definitely want to keep on incorporating like fun little activities and like games as we do these podcasts because it is so, I don't know. I tend to pick like serious topics, so I feel like something like this is fun. Let us know what you think about this game element. And definitely want to have fun with more guests as well as the season continues. I think that's all I have for today. Okay, don't forget to follow us on youarehere.pod on Instagram. And you can follow my personal at Janelle Siani. And I think that's it. Make sure to subscribe to the pod, subscribe to the YouTube channel, or is it follow the pod? Whatever. I don't know. Do what you gotta do, okay, to make sure you don't miss an episode, because it's really just gonna get better. Okay, I'm committing my time to become an expert at this. Okay. I feel like that wink was bad, so if it was bad, don't tell me. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much. Ad break. Bye. Going to commercials.